Hey music lovers, I'm Tim Nichols and I'm Generation X. I'm a Christian and I am a metalhead. I love me some Christian music. Now there was one particular band that I'd heard a lot of good things about, but I just couldn't get past their name, so I didn't give them a chance, and that is Wytch Hazel. Now, granted, I know Wytch Hazel is a medicine, but there was just something about having the word witch in your name that just kind of made me leery about it. Also, they were on Bad Omen Records, and that kind of weirded me out, but Emil Westerdahl, who is the owner of Ulterium Records, actually encouraged me to go ahead and get the album Pentecost just to see what I thought about it. And the moment I listened to that album, I was absolutely hooked. So now I just want to show you the albums that I have from Wytch Hazel. I don't have any of the CDs yet. I do hope to get those. I'll tell you the great thing about some of these is they came with the ability to download the album, so I have them on a USB drive and I listen to them in my car, and it's pretty incredible. But let's start with their first album, and that is Prelude. And Prelude is, you can tell they're finding themselves, and you can tell the mix isn't quite there, but it's actually a pretty good album, and it feels very Wytch Hazelish. So I'm very glad that Pentecost was my first experience because it helped me appreciate this one a lot more. But I'm telling you, I'm not disappointed in the Prelude album. And also, if you want to take a look at the album, first of all, they come in these really nice static-free sleeves. This one's getting a little more difficult to find, although it is available. And I just thought this was absolutely gorgeous. Check this out. Beautiful. And one thing I love about Wytch Hazel albums is they will have both sides of their songs on one side of the album, and then the other side is just blank. And the funny thing is the other side is side A, so there's no songs listed on side A. All the songs are listed on side B, but you can see this like color splatter vinyl is gorgeous. It's kind of got an aqua and black mix, and I'm going to tell you, these things actually sound pretty clean. Now, again, the mix on this one is not the best. The vocals could stand to be just a little bit higher on these. And I think they got the mix figured out by the time they got to Pentecost. But anyhow, this is a great album that I really enjoyed, but it's definitely not the pinnacle of their work. But Prelude is a good opening album for a great band. I am very thankful I was able to overcome their name and even the record label they were on to really give this band a shot, because they are definitely worth the listen. And I'll admit I don't have enough experience with the first album to really determine what my favorite song off that album is, but that leads me to number 2, and that is Sojourn. And you can see they've stepped up the album art just a little bit on their second album. And Sojourn, it's not their best work, but it's still a really good, solid, like, if this is the only Wytch Hazel I would have ever experienced, if Pentecost hadn't been my first experience, I would have probably absolutely loved this album. Now, there's one thing to get out of the way. On their first song, The Devil Is Here, the opening line is, "Don't know where the hell I'm going." I was like grooving with the album, and it's like, "Don't know where the hell I'm going." I was like, whoa, what in the world? So that kind of startled me. But it seems that this second album is kind of them explaining their spiritual journey and their struggle. For example, the track list is The Devil Is Here, Save My Life, Still We Fight, Wait on the Wind, See My Demons, Borrow Hill, Corral, Slaves to Righteousness, Victory, and Angel Take Me. So you see kind of this progression in this album where they're struggling against the works of the devil, and they're struggling to find their way as Christians, and ultimately you see that victory. And of course, this one also has that static free sleeve, and this one is brown. It's not as beautiful of a vinyl, but it does have that same method. It has side A is blank, and then on side 2, it has side A and side B track list, but you can still tell they're finding their sound. They're also finding their mix. The vocals are just a little quiet on this album, but by the time we get to Pentecost, and this is the one where you can see it has the digital download where you can put this on a jump drive and play it in your car. This album is absolutely incredible from start to finish. There is not a track that I skip on this album. He Is the Fight is excellent. Spirit and Fire, it's just great. Archangel, Dry Bones, I think is probably the best track on this album, but Reap the Harvest is also very good. Ancient of Days, this is like a greatest hits album. If you remember those gold 45 records that would have hits on both sides, that's what this feels like, where every single song is an absolute hit on this thing. And this is where the mix starts getting better as well. You can really sense that they are finding not only their sound and that really kind of grungy, kind of dirty sounding guitar that gives you kind of Thin Lizzy vibes. Even here and there, you can hear a little bit of Ozzy and Black Sabbath in this. But this is some good stuff. It's almost like these guys were born in the 1970s and somehow just were kept in a time capsule and released in the 2020s to really give the world what everybody wants from Christian music, which is that kind of, I don't know, it's not quite acid rock. I don't know what really category to put it in, but it's just that 1970s vibe. So it's like when you play this on vintage equipment, like I have a 1977 record player and a 76 Kenwood receiver that I play this on, and it just feels like the right era. It feels like it's being played on equipment that it was made for, and it's really cool. This is a great album. So now let's check out the vinyl on this one. Also, it is on a sleeve that is static free, and this one is the yellow vinyl. And this is really great because it has, again, the track list on side B for both sides, and then on side A, it just has blank. I just think that's really an interesting thing, and this is a beautiful yellow vinyl as well. And it doesn't have like a lot of swirl action, but you can see a little bit. I don't know if that picks up on camera there, but I mean, this is probably their best album. And that's saying a lot because the next two are really excellent as well. So let's go ahead and look at their fourth record, and that is Sacrament. Now, Sacrament also comes with a digital download, and you can see the artwork really is kind of almost like iconic in a way. It isn't icons, but it gives kind of that vibe. I'm not sure which denomination Wytch Hazel is a part of, but you can see like the knight kneeling in prayer, and just I believe this album is kind of like their call to sanctification, their call to consecration. For their first album, they were finding themselves. Their second album kind of describes their spiritual journey. Their third item really describes the power of God through Pentecost. And their fourth album is really them setting themselves apart as members of the kingdom of God. And you can see Angel of Light, Time and Doubt, Stronghold, Deliver Us, 1,000 Years, Gold Light, Endless Battle, The Future is Gold, Digging Deeper. I would say that Angel of Light is probably my favorite track on this album. It's really good, but let's go ahead and look at the vinyl. Of course, this one also came in a static free sleeve. And you can see it also has both sides listed on one side. And then side A is blank. Now this one's just a standard black vinyl. I do believe they have several different color options available in all their records. But again, Prelude is starting to sell out. So if you want to get that one, you want to get it now. They also have some like EPs that I haven't had a chance to get my hands on. And I'd really like to get my hands on the CDs as well. So hopefully maybe one day I can get in contact with Wytch Hazel and get some of those ones that are a little bit harder to find, because I would be really excited to get some of their more non-polished stuff before they were really actually putting out studio albums. But Sacrament is a great, great record. I wouldn't put it on the level of Pentecost, but it is very good. But then album number 5. Because I believe this is probably their number 2 best album of the 5. And this is Lamentations. And you can see that the artwork is nice on this one. They really lean into like the British kind of night scene, which they are from Britain, so that would make sense. But Lamentations, The Citadel, is probably the best song on this. It is incredible. But this one's a little bit more mellow than Pentecost, but it really hits hard. I never skip a song on this album. It's really great. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the vinyl as well. And this one did not come, surprisingly, in a static-free sleeve, so I used one of my Invest in Vinyl. I'll put these in the video description because they are really nice and they're also quite inexpensive. And they really do help reduce the noise on your vinyl. But this one is like a blue and kind of a brownish. It's an interesting color combo, but I don't hate it. And of course, again, as is their style, they have both sides listed on one side. And then when you get to the other side, it's just blank. And they have these numbers, Omen 34. So I don't know what that 34 means, but each one has a different number associated with the album. But when it comes to Wytch Hazel, I am so glad that I gave them a chance. I am so glad I didn't let the name deter me from giving them a shot and listening to them. And what's interesting is I'm not a big listen to a band on YouTube first. I'm one of those roll the dice, take the risk. When Emil recommended them to me, he had recommended them to me several times, and I kind of hesitated, and finally he talked me into it and was like, you're not going to regret this. And he was right. I don't regret it at all. This is a great band. It was really, once I heard Pentecost, I was like, I want them all. And I still haven't pulled the trigger on the CDs, although I really want them. I'm one of those guys that likes to use CDs along with records. Records are more of my when I'm feeling like really having an interactive experience, when I want to experience the music and hear the crackle and clean the stylus and really set the tone arm and have that warmth. But a lot of times I want the convenience of listening to it on CD as well. And of course in my car, listening to it on my jump drive is amazing. But anyway, let me know what you think about Wytch Hazel, because I almost didn't give them a chance. God bless you. Keep calm. Jesus on.